tribal chief is head and shoulders above everybody.
Hey, guys, we're here at the locker room. We'll talk about Tessa Blanchard, best for business. Tessa Blanchard deserves another chance. You guys get the likes up in the locker room at Tasha Reigns Scandal, and you already know is about to air some dirty laundry on this one. Now, there's been a lot of controversy since Tessa Blanchard has returned in TNA. She showed up at Final Resolution attacking Jordynne Grace. There's been a lot of uproars in the TNA locker room. They're not happy about her returning to the company. We have not seen Tessa Blanchard since 2020 when she last won the Impact World Championship. Only woman in history to win the Men's World Championship in a major promotion. And I know she had travel issues and, defend the belt and then send the belt in, which led to her being released from TNA. And, of course, they said that she has now apologized and her name has been blacklisted for major promotions since then. But fast forward to 2024, she has returned at Final Resolution. She's back. Now, I know they have said as well that she is not officially signed a contract. She said that in an interview, which was not too long ago recently. She's not signed. She said that she's grateful for everything with CMLL, but she has not signed a contract. She's not on no type of deal. I believe she is. They just don't want to really talk about that so much because, maybe, it leads to controversy as we see right now, because I don't think they'll put that trust into Tessa Blanchard to not have a contract. She can flake them at any given time. There's no commitment there. But I know there's interviews by Ring the Bell and Booker T on Hall of Fame podcast. They talk about her returning to TNA. Some people are happy about it. Some people are not. You guys let me know. How do you guys feel about Tessa Blanchard returning to TNA and being back in wrestling in a major promotion? Because she was wrestling CMLL and other independent companies. She just went out into one of the major promotions. So she never stopped working. But I know some people had tweets about it. Remember, she had beef with others, said women try to support each other. She's been accused of bullying. This has been going on. Allison Kay said something about it, about her using the N-word. Then we also had a tweet from other women wrestlers that had accused her of bullying and mistreating people in the wrong way. That's been going on for quite some time. And some people, they just do not like Tessa Blanchard. Chelsea Green said you constantly put down, bully, and belittle her, including her, Gigi Dolan, Isla Dawn, you name it. And then Tessa Blanchard replied, that's not true. The statement is ridiculous. This is back in 2020, but we're going to see what everyone else has to say.
Well, we've got the last news. That's going to be a little bit of a... TNA pulled a gun. They rehired Tessa Blanchard, which is a very controversial move. They recently had a pay-per-view, and we saw Jordynne Grace get attacked by masked assailant. It was Tessa Blanchard. And everybody knew because that whole day, every news outlets were like, Tessa's coming back, Tessa's coming back.
Everybody's very divided.
Right.
I just had knee surgery, so I've been spending a lot of time. There's a lot of fighting going on the internet, is what I can say about that. Because I've seen a lot of people saying, this is wrong, this is awful, nobody asked for this. And then right underneath that comment saying, no, you're wrong, I think this is fine.
To give a little backstory to it, so this was like a kept secret for TNA. And this decision to keep this news away from everyone was done intentionally because they knew there will be backlash. Blanchard is reportedly set to be on her best behavior, but, we'll see how that goes. If you're not familiar with the situation, is that the whole pushback comes from 2020, I think? The day of her getting the world title shot. That's the day that everything came out.
For being the first woman to hold a major world title, which typically would be awarded to men.
Right.
So just so everybody's clear about that,
Right.
which is a huge accomplishment.
Right.
Cannot stress enough.
She tweeted out, women try supporting one another. And then that's the day where
everything melted down.
Right, all the women came out.
Petridge Farm remembers, and bullying in the locker room.
Right. There are all these accusations about her bullying and racism towards La Rosa. And even after that, there were a couple more situation where she was fired from TNA later that year after winning the championship. So she did win the world championship that day, but she was fired later that year because she didn't come back from Mexico to drop the title in the storyline.
She was out of her contract before their big pay-per-view, and they wanted her to wrestle at the pay-per-view, then as world champion, potentially drop the world championship. But for whatever reason, they hadn't sorted out her contract situation, which led to her vacating the belt that time and then leaving Impact at the time.
And allegedly not returning the belt.
Yes, there was a situation with her returning the belt. That was after all of the mix-up with her winning the belt, and that should have been this big crowning achievement for her.
And then in 2021, she did this whole press conference with WOW.
Yeah, it was supposed to be quote-unquote rehab project, a rehabilitation project.
Right, because what was the word they're using? The atomic heel?
Nuclear
heat.
Yeah, nuclear. So, well, what happened was at Pro Wrestling Tees, they released a T-shirt of WOW merchandising, playing off the situation. Right. And this is just me playing devil's advocate. That happens often in wrestling.
It does, yeah.
Where, regardless of how you feel about the situation,
it gets people talking.
Yes.
But after being signed and being presented as their top star, she had a falling out with the company before the filming even began. So there has been series of incidents where Tessa was trying to work with the company, but it just didn't work out. And then even this whole situation of her joining TNA, returning to TNA, she left CMLL and she vacated the title in that process. So even in this case, it doesn't seem like a cleanest exit from CMLL. Okay, what do we think about this whole situation?
There was a lot to take in from this. Nobody's questioning her ability, of course.
Oh,
Great
yeah.
wrestler.
Yes,
very talented.
I think a lot of
and I think that, she probably would have ended up somewhere if a lot of people weren't worried about the backlash of bringing her in with all of this stuff. It's tough because you have some people that believe she deserves a second chance, while some people are just like, absolutely not. And both sides are understandable, but on her point of view, because she isn't even 30 yet. She's 29?
Yeah.
She's still very young. I just think the biggest issue is you've got to give people a reason to want to support you again. You can't just come back and not take accountability for certain things and expect people to just forget about it. You've got to come back, and if you're going to rehab your image, come back in a big way, you have to do the work to get people to get invested in you. You can't just come back and go, well, that happened.
She has, quote unquote, work things out with La Rosa Negra. There are other people in wrestling that feel slighted by her. I don't know if y'all know. I don't know if anybody knows because it's none of my business personally. If she worked out things with the people that went on Twitter, Twitx, whatever the heck.
Chelsea Green, Kay, Isla Dawn.
Isla Dawn was one of the people that was very offended. Priscilla Kelly, PK,
Gigi Dolan.
Gigi Dolan. I don't know if she approach those four women in particular, which I think she probably needs to do. But I do know that she did work some indies in the Midwest. I don't know how that went.
I'm all fine and well with something happening behind closed doors, being taken care of behind closed doors. But you also had this very public outing of you as a bully and all these other things, and you have to acknowledge those things. You can't just think, oh, I can come back and none of that matters now. Again, I should say there are people that very much want to work with her. We see that with her being signed. There are wrestlers that still want to work with her.
Yes.
So it's not just a matter of nobody likes this woman, but that's why I said it's tough to just say she doesn't deserve a second chance.
But also, is this a second chance? I feel like this is like third or fourth chance. And it's interesting situation for TNA right now because they are losing some major names. They're losing Jordynne Grace. They're losing Josh Alexander. They're losing Mike Bailey. So they're losing some big names they've got. Currently in their knockouts division, they've been losing such big... They lost Trinity last year. They lost Mickie James. As much as I love TNA's knockout division, their creative has mostly failed in creating a new star. I'm desperate to find someone big to fill the hole they're having.
Yes. I agree with you. And so for my take on this is such a weird situation. One of the things that I have a big issue with is that nobody was talked to in advance. I think this is something out of respect for the locker room, out of respect of the very, very sticky situation, because on so many levels, this is a rough situation.
And just to add quick thing, apparently Jordynne Grace did a pushback to working with Tessa. There was that situation. Yeah.
Right. Which is like, that's a whole nother thing in and of itself. The locker room, the staff, everyone should have been talked to like, hey friends, this is happening. It's probably going to happen regardless, but we would like your opinions. We would like your thoughts, and let's talk about it. Let's be open and honest. And if Jordynne didn't want to work with her, maybe they should have put that situation with somebody else. I don't know how that could have worked. That being said, there are people in TNA that are happy that she's back. Like Moose very publicly tweeted, "Welcome home," which a lot of people blew up on the internet like, "Oh, screw you, bub," and other things that I will not say.
Not starting off on the best foot, like you said, when you hear this news that Jordynne has some pushback. And that's to my point earlier, if you've got to do the work. If you know you're going to come in, why didn't you then come in and talk to Jordynne or somebody that might have a problem with you, and they have an open conversation before this is just thrown in somebody's lap? It doesn't look great.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, I agree with you, Phil. Like, there is a very different way to handle this.
I've been saying this for weeks, but TNA's Knockouts division really needed some help. So we'll see how this goes. Yeah. It's going to be very interesting.
Hell of a job. I just want to give those guys props going forward. Some news out there that I did see, just to switch gears. Tessa Blanchard is back in TNA. And the thing is, man, I've already seen criticisms. I just want to put this out there. I've already seen criticism of Tessa Blanchard being back and people still wanting to try to cancel her. Man, y'all get off of it, man. Get off of it. You know, and the thing is, if something was said, if an apology was made and fences were mended, you know, we should be able to move on. One thing about certain things, just say, for instance, that get out there in the social media sphere, everybody know about it, but don't nobody really know what's going on. That's what's really, I'm serious.
100%.
Everybody know about the story, but don't nobody know what's going on. Because, you know, I just like say, for instance, I had 2 girls at Reality Wrestling that had beef. And I said, man, you need to straighten this out. You need to squash that beef. On social media, perhaps social media had picked it up. But social media don't know that these two have, you know, mended that fence. They have been down the road working together. They have tagged together, and everything is all good. So my thing is, guys, get off of all of this hate and let Tessa Blanchard hopefully try to resurrect her career and go out there and redo this thing all over again. Try. Let's just look at it as that, a redo. Let's look at it as that.
Well, look, I don't try to get too in the weeds when you see stories like, I don't know the specifics of the Tessa thing. I've heard things, right? I mean, you read some things. I don't know what was said, what the whole beef was about. I couldn't tell you, right? It reminds me of that quote, small minds talk about people, good minds talk about events, great minds talk about ideas. And to me, yeah, people are going to talk. People are going to say things that they regret. People are going to make mistakes. Look, he without sin, right, shall cast the first stone. And to me, if there's, you know, if apologies were done, mistakes were acknowledged, like, we got to go from cancel culture to council culture. Yeah, hey, you don't do that, but guess what? Come on back in. How many times, Book, have you told somebody at the gym to get their stuff and get out, right? I can in my 12 years, it may be up to the hundreds. I don't know if it's that many, but that's what I like to think. It might be to the hundreds. But let's say it's 100. Let's say it's 100. Guess how many out of those 100 got a second chance? All 100 of them.
Yeah, every one of them.
That's the way it works.
Every one of them. I've never held a grudge until you cross that line. Of course, there is a line that you can't cross back over. But like you say, every time I've had a dispute, whatnot, with someone, and they were told to get the hell up out of here, they always came back. They always came back. They always got a second chance. And just because I believe in people making mistakes and getting another chance. And the reason I say that, because I was one who made a hell of a mistake in my life. And somebody gave me a second chance. And the reason I'm here right now is because of that second chance. So I cannot be the one who just, cast someone out and throw them away like trash.
All right, guys, that was Booker T Hall of Fame podcast and Ring a Bell podcast talking about Tessa Blanchard return. And that's all I have for Tessa Blanchard Best for Business. Tessa Blanchard, does she deserve a second chance? You guys let me know, should she be blacklisted, not return to TNA ever, or should she get another shot? We have to see what's going on. No, people are saying that this is already her second, third chance and she shouldn't get any more. But you never know what's going behind the scenes, like Booker T said. So you guys let me know what you think. Soon to videos will pop up. You guys click the links below. You guys already know what it is at this point. It is OUT.